Bully, otherwise known as Canis Canem Ere, released back in October 2006 for the PlayStation 2 and then was re-released for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 in 2008. These were the years of the golden era of Rockstar Games when they were releasing multiple titles each year, and they had the iconic team of Sam Houser, Dan Houser, and Leslie Benz. 16 years later, and Bully has still had a huge impact on the gaming industry and on the future titles that Rockstar Games came to make, such as Red Dead Redemption 2. Bully revolutionized gaming back when it first released due to its distinctive concept and unique gameplay and features. Over the last 10 years, there has been a large number of rumors, concept art leaks, recent mentions of Bully 2 in the GTA 5 source code, and even interviews with former employees from Rockstar New England confirming that Bully 2 was in development at some point. However, in December 2023, we got our first look at Grand Theft Auto 6, which at the moment is believed to be Rockstar Games' next release, which is due out in 2025. That's if we're lucky and they don't delay the game like they usually do. And it got me thinking, many people actively talk about Bully nearly 16 years after its release. So with the popular demand for Bully 2 within the Rockstar Games community, will we ever get this highly anticipated sequel after GTA 6, or will Rockstar just leave this legendary game on the shelf for it to gather dust and for it never to be touched again? After the GTA 5 source code was leaked and it mentioned Bully 2, it really had me wanting a sequel for this game. So I recently decided to play through Bully again on PC, and I had an absolute blast. I actually purchased it again on PlayStation, but the PC version looks way better than the PlayStation 2 version, so I didn't bother with it. So with this video, we're going to be looking at, will we ever get a Bully 2 and what Bully 2 could look like. So let's get into it. For those of you who have not played Bully, Bully takes place in the early 2000s, and you take control of our protagonist, Jimmy Hopkins, a teenager who's been abandoned at Bulworth Academy while his mother and new stepdad go on their honeymoon for an entire year. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Jimmy's going to be coming home to a brand new baby brother or sister after he's done with Bulworth. Jimmy has been expelled from 7 different schools, so he's notorious for being a menace to society, which is probably why he's sent to Bulworth Academy, which apparently is one of the toughest schools in the country and promises to fix misbehaving students. However, Bulworth Academy isn't all sunshine and rainbows, because it doesn't do the best job of keeping its troubled students in check, as the school is home to the future degenerates and scumbags of society, and that includes the teachers too. After arriving at Bulworth Academy, Jimmy is welcomed into the school by an unhinged student named Gary, who's pretty much a sociopath. Gary, being the good friend he is to Jimmy, shows him around the school and eventually shares with him his master plan to take over the school. And in order to do so, he needs to prove he's the biggest and baddest student to all the gangs that occupy Bulworth Academy. These gangs at Bulworth are the nerds, preps, greasers, and the jocks. Jimmy is apprehensive of helping Gary at first because he doesn't want to get expelled from another school, but does so anyway because Gary is one of Jimmy's only friends at Bulworth currently, alongside Pete. The first set of missions introduces you to the school and gets you used to the controls and features the game has to offer, which are all exciting and fresh in their own way. Shortly after this, Gary ends up betraying Jimmy by pitting him up against one of the biggest bullies in the school because he believes Jimmy's competition towards him and will stop Gary from taking over the school. Jimmy defeats the bully, Russell, and Gary disappears into the background while he silently schemes a plan to take over the school. Jimmy at this point in the story is so confused with what Gary did and decides he doesn't want to take over the school, but instead he wants to restore order to Bulworth Academy, and to do that he needs to take down the leaders of each of the gangs at the school to get their respect. I won't go into what happens in the rest of the game for those of you who've not played it yet, but if you haven't played it yet, what are you doing? But the story from this point onwards is Jimmy doing tasks for other pupils, questionable teachers, one of which drinks on the job and who can blame him, and for the strange and quirky people who live in the town of Bulworth. The missions are super fun, and pretty much each single one of them offers a unique gameplay, which definitely keeps the player engaged and entertained throughout their playtime. The only setback to Bully's gameplay is there is a ton of fighting, and unless you decide to change up the combat yourself with some of the different special items Jimmy can get, such as the slingshot and stink bomb, the fighting becomes very repetitive. Although people say Bully is just GTA but a school version, the difference between these two titles is most of the gameplay in the GTA games is about killing people and stealing vehicles. Bully obviously doesn't let you kill people, but if it did, I don't think Rockstar Games would still be in business today. But the game gives you other means of completing missions, which are all silly in their own way and interesting. For example, one of the first missions you play is set during Halloween, and the game dresses Jimmy up in a costume and tasks the player to play pranks on other students, such as putting a kick me sign on someone or throwing eggs or stink bombs at someone. The whole school is decorated with Halloween decorations, and the other students are all wearing unique costumes too, and this is all just for one mission, plus a special mission if the player chooses to tackle it. Besides from the missions which progress the story and the seasons in the game, Bully offers a whole host of activities and mini-games in the form of classes to keep the player entertained during this day at Bulworth. Just to name a few, Jimmy can mow the lawn, do a newspaper run, participate in bike races, perform errands for pupils and the townsfolk, and progress his relationships with other students by being nice or mean to them. Speaking of which, this mechanic was in Red Dead Redemption 2, where the player can interact with anyone in the world and greet or taunt them. Classes in this game range from chemistry to English, and each lesson has its own cool little mini game. For some of them, they are button prompts which you need to press when indicated, or to make words out of letters you are provided with. You can explore the entirety of Bulworth Academy and the 4 districts that make up the town of Bulworth by skateboard, bike, moped, and go-kart. There's also a carnival you can go to where you can play carnival games and win tickets, which you can then use to get prizes, which is pretty neat. The map of Bully just feels very cozy, if that makes any sense, and I think the reason for this is because using any means of travel in this game doesn't get you from A to B super quick, and you become very familiar with the school and the town along with the people that occupy it. Bully's world makes it feel like a feel-good comfort game, if that makes any sense. Speaking of the characters in Bully, each character you come across is unique, and they have their own name and belong to different factions, offering Jimmy to interact with every single one of them in a special way. As you progress through the game, Jimmy will get girls in the school to like him, and he can then give them gifts and receive smooches from them. You can also customize Jimmy by purchasing different types of clothing from visiting different shops in the game or by completing certain missions. You can also visit barbershops to get a new haircut if you don't really vibe with the buzz cut he has. Honestly, there is just so much in this game that it's outstanding and crazy to say this title was released back in 2006. Bully was pretty much doing everything and more from what we've got from video games in the last 5 years and currently. So that brings me on to, will we get to see a Bully 2 after Grand Theft Auto 6 releases in 2025? Well, it's said that Bully 2 has been cancelled 3 times already. The first was back in 2009, then 2011, and then 2017 in favour of Red Dead Redemption 2. And because of each time Bully 2 has been cancelled, it's only made the players want a sequel even more. There have been mentions of a Bully sequel in the recent leak of the GTA 5 source code, and to rub it in the fans' faces more, there is even 2 direct references to Bully in Red Dead Redemption 2, which got fans' hopes up. One being a revolver, which has the engravings saying Canis Canem Ere, which is the original name for Bully when it first released in 2006. And then the second reference to Bully is after you complete Red Dead Redemption 2's epilogue, you unlock a trophy or achievement named Endless Summer, which is what Bully's free roam exploration chapter is called after you complete the game. Obviously, one of the biggest reasons we haven't got Bully 2 is because of the success of GT Online and it being one of the biggest cash cows in the gaming industry, which is clearly evidenced by how popular this game is 10 years after it was released. It's not just Bully 2 that has suffered from the success of GTA Online. Who knows, probably in the space of 10 years we could have gotten LA Noire 2, a Man on 3, and maybe we would have gotten GTA 6 sooner. Then you have to try and see it from Rockstar's perspective. The original version of Bully only sold 1.5 million copies, which unfortunately doesn't quite compare to the bigger numbers that other games did, such as the original Red Dead Redemption, which shipped around 23 million copies by 2021. So obviously Rockstar have looked at what sold more and focused their time and resources in developing a sequel to their more popular titles, which makes complete sense. So although Bully has been cancelled 3 times already, Rockstar Games have had to make the executive decision to focus their time and resources to develop the bigger and more popular games for what the fans want on paper. And Bully isn't the only title Rockstar Games have had to cancel. Again, from the recent leaks of the GTA 5 source code, it was revealed that GTA 5 had several DLCs planned, along with a Liberty City expansion. But unfortunately, these were all cancelled so Rockstar Games could focus on the success of GTA Online. It is upsetting for the fans to find out about this, sadly, but that's just how the gaming industry is nowadays. So part of me would really like to see a Bully 2, but sadly I don't think we are going to get a sequel to Bully anytime soon. Maybe Rockstar Games will pick it up after the release of GTA 6, since then most of the Rockstar Games studios will be free, other than the developers supporting the online component of GTA 6. So hopefully this will free up more staff and give the studios the time they need to develop Bully 2 and give the fans the game that they have been patiently waiting for since 2006. None of us knows what Rockstar Games' next 10 years will look like, and it could be that they're taking the same approach they have shown to us in the last 10 years, where they make a Grand Theft Auto game, which was GTA 5 in 2013, and then they spend the next few years working on a different title, which we saw was Red Dead Redemption 2 in 2018. And then they work on another Grand Theft Auto game, which will be GTA 6 in 2025, and then a different title a few years later, which could be Bully 2. But then, even if Rockstar Games did make a Bully 2 after GTA 6, what would it look like? I don't think it would be the best choice to set the game in current times, because most teenagers at school nowadays are glued to their phones, and rather than using slingshots or stink bombs, these students will probably make diss tracks or memes of other students to make fun of them. Rockstar Games would have to set Bully 2's time period for the early 2000s again, which would give them a lot more creative freedom and be true to the original Bully. I don't think setting the game's time period for the early 2000s would be so much of a bad thing either, because Rockstar have proven that they can make a masterpiece no matter the time era, with Red Dead Redemption 2 being set in 1899. Maybe Bully 2 could be a sequel to the original, but I think it would be more interesting to be in a different town with an all new protagonist and different factions we have to take down. So I want to know what your thoughts are on this, and what would you want from a Bully 2? Let me know in the comment section down below. This video is slightly different to the normal videos I have been doing on the channel recently, but I felt like sitting down and discussing whether or not Bully 2 could happen, and I actually had a lot of fun with this. So if you did find the video cool and enjoyed it, please leave a like. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.